There is something incredibly important about the formation of a relationship. And it is like building the foundations of where the house is going to be erected. And that principle is us as the woman, you as the woman, having the power to set the pace of the formation of that relationship. If you're new here, I am Shaylin. I am an integrated counselor, still in training, and I'm a level 3 values-based coach. And I have created this series for you to bring you comfort, encouragement, insight, and skills that are going to help you as the woman in your life, first of all, bring formation into your own life, that feminine formation, and give you the skills that you need to create flourishing environments in your life, to have those relationships that you want to blossom. And I really believe that as women, we are the ones who hold the power and also the desire and the drive to have flourishing, rich relationships. I think we are possibly a little bit more attuned to the environment and the emotional temperature of a relationship. And so I think we're the ones who need to be skilled. We need to have insight. We need to carry the wisdom to know how to have those healthy relationships and how to build them. Now, I didn't learn any of these skills that I'm going to teach you in these series. I didn't learn them through school. I didn't learn them at church. I didn't learn them from my parents. And I had to go through a lot of heartbreak and just failure after failure to realize that I was lacking some skill and understanding. And so I made it my absolute mission to understand what are the dynamics, what are the skills, what are the principles, and what are the behaviors that I need to embody to create and cultivate healthy relationships. Now, I came into it from a total back foot. I was looking for comfort. I was looking for my sense of value from the wrong places, from relationships. And so through the heartbreak that I received from that, because it's just not possible to get your value and your sense of worth and your sense of being from another person. And so I thought, okay, something is wrong. So I dived deep into behavioral psychology, the Christian tradition, philosophy, and all different sources of wisdom and practical skill to develop the series for you, dear radiant one, so that you can live a radiant life as the radiant woman that you are designed to be. But we often don't have the skills or the understanding or the knowledge that we need to become that woman. But here we go. I've created the series for you. So let's dive into it, into principle 1. You are the one who sets the pace. This principle is my favorite, and it is one that I have struggled with. I have failed in it more times than I would like to admit, especially here on the internet. But I will share with you that I've failed in this one because I want to start off by saying this is not about being perfect. It's not about being rigid with yourself or with your relationships, but it's just about understanding how we as humans connect and attach, and why it's important for, well, what I think is important for the woman to be the one that sets the pace in the relationship. And I don't know about you, but sometimes when we meet somebody and the chemistry is sparking and there seems to be a sense of synchronicity and this is the person that is just absolutely for me, the wisdom, the pace, all these skills that we may know tend to go out the window. But there is a way in which we can protect the formation of that relationship that is beginning to blossom. The way I like to see it now, after many failures in my wake, is that speed does not mean something is right. Speed and your nervous system and your mind and your emotions becoming attached to somebody too quickly is often a sign and a signal that this needs to slow down. In our culture, as you know, everything is instant these days. We have instant food, we have ordering things online and being able to get them that same day. We have forgotten the art of patience. We've forgotten the art of the slow burn. We have forgotten how to let things gently simmer. And so, as a fellow woman to you, I want to give you this skill as a gift, because it's not only a gift for your own life and you being able to protect the relationship that forms in your life, but it's also a gift that you will be able to give to your loved ones and maybe your children one day. Because I think when we practice these virtues, these values and ways of showing up for a relationship in a healthy way, when we practice them, we're then able to give them to other people. And in that way, the radiance that we are developing as women is beginning to shine out into the lives around us, and we're having an impact just by operating in good practices, good principles, values, and virtues. So, this principle of slowing down your pace and you being the one who sets the pace is actually based in a lot of attachment science, and there has been a lot of research around this. And you could probably look at the own research in your own life and see when relationships have escalated too quickly that normally they fizzle out quickly as well. I don't know, am I correct? I know I've experienced that, and I've seen friends experience that, and the culture around us is telling us that's the way to do it, but it seriously is not. If you're wanting a healthy relationship to develop, we need to protect this formation time. So there is an incredible book by Dr. John Van Epp. I actually did a wonderful interview with him, if you look back on the channel, and it's all about how to attach correctly with someone. And he created this model called RAM. RAM, which means relationship attachment model. And he gives this beautiful formula, if you want to call it that, or this art, this science of how to actually approach a relationship. And this is a great formula that we can use to kind of slow ourselves down, to reflect and think through what is going on in this relationship. And if you want to protect it and if you want it to grow well, just remember that seed doesn't all of a sudden blossom. It doesn't all of a sudden become a tree. There's a whole germination process. It's often the little seed hidden underneath all the soil in darkness, and then it comes up, it lets out its little shoots, and that shoot is so delicate and so fragile that it needs to be protected. And one of the things that we can do as women to protect our relationships and the development of them is to slow down the pace of the man, or even slow down the pace of a friendship forming, because sometimes as well we get attached to female friends too quickly and we haven't yet seen whether or not they are a trustworthy person. Okay, ladies, just a quick one for you. I have created a gorgeous book for you with 12 principles that are going to help you in your relationship. And that is because my heart is literally for every woman to have a beautiful, thriving relationship. Girls, I know we want it. I know we need it. And I know we have some skills and some wisdom that we can bring to the table in a relationship. So if you go to the link below and sign up to my email list, I'm going to give you a gift of the first chapter. And there'll be one new chapter coming with each video, and then the full ebook is going to be sent your way. And this is years of my own learning, struggling, failing, and just finding the principles that we need. Okay, so sign up below and I'll see you on your email. So looking at Dr. John Van Epp's relationship attachment model, I'll just give you a quick rundown here, but if you want to go more in depth, please go watch that video, which I will link below. And it is the know, trust, rely, commit, and touch model. So basically what it is you don't all of a sudden jump into bed with somebody. Okay, I'm sorry to say. And I know there's a lot of messaging out there of if you do that, there's ways that you can kind of manipulate the man and the situation and detach so that you can draw him back in. I'm telling you, girl, that is just like a whole bunch of emotional turmoil and nonsense that we do not want to be getting ourselves into. We need to protect our energy, and in forming a relationship, our energy and our focus needs to be protected. And how we can do that is with this very practical model and questions that we can ask ourselves and journal about. So first of all, it is important to have an awareness of what your attachment style is. And there's various videos on my channel as well about attachment style, and there's a lot out there on the internet about it. But in its simplest form, how we are attuned to by our parents or our caregivers when we grow up, it can create a different kind of attachment map that we live from. And that map can either be very insecure, the way we attach to people, which can be an anxious attachment style. It can be an avoidant. So these different attachment styles come with all different characteristics and behaviors and feelings that we experience in relationships when we're forming a new relationship. And so it is brilliant to have that self-knowledge and awareness of whether you're anxious, avoidant, or disorganized. Those are also not death sentences. They are just frameworks to be able to understand kind of how you are attaching to people and why, understanding where that map has been formed. Because once you have that understanding about yourself, the beautiful thing is then you're able to change it by putting into place new skills and new practices with people and with yourself. So the first thing that we hear Dr. John Van Epp talk about is, first of all, you need to know somebody. The more time you spend with them, the more you are listening to this man in your life and just kind of observing him, observing how does he show up in his life? How is he treating people? How is he caring for himself? How does he treat his family members? How is he treating you, first of all? So giving that time to kind of develop, to start to know and to see, asking him curious questions, not being an interrogator, as I'll admit I've interrogated people in the past, but that came from my own defenses, trying to find out immediately if this person was trustworthy. And when you kind of dive into that defensive mode of trying to get to know someone quickly, that is also a sign of just being very anxious, because you're wanting to form that secure bond before the knowing, the trusting, the relying, and the committing to that person has been formed. And those things just simply can't be rushed. That is the nature of things. That is the nature of nature. Nature cannot be rushed. Things grow slowly. They have seasons, and they need nourishment from the earth and from the rain and from the sun. And this is kind of like all an ecosystem that goes on in nature. None of that can be rushed. And it's the same with human behavior and human connection and relationship development. It's an ecosystem that cannot be rushed. And within this ecosystem, as I've mentioned, and just to clarify, we can't rush into the touch, because science has time and time again shown us we have all the science now that says that, that oxytocin, that dopamine attachment can blind us from truly getting to know that person at that beginning time, when it's so important to see whether this person is somebody you want to know and is somebody you want to let into your life and into your heart. If they are somebody you can rely on, that you can trust, and that you want to commit to. And once you start to develop these different levels, then you can bring in the trust accordingly, appropriately, because as somebody who is of the Christian tradition, I think we have been maybe sold a bad message about touch. And I know maybe a bit more medieval times and Victorian times, sex and touch and these different physical components to the human relationship were kind of frowned upon, seen as bad, separated from the spirit. Flesh is bad, forget about it, sacrifice the flesh type of thing. But it's not that. God has made our touch a beautiful thing. We are a whole being, and our physical part is very much part of that ecosystem. But when we put that physical part of our relationship in its incorrect order, when that love is disordered and that physical touch is put as the first step or as the first rung of the ladder, then we can easily see, and in culture and in maybe our past and our relationships, that the formation of that relationship hasn't started off on the right foot. So my encouragement to you today, my comfort for you today, is that even if you have done that in the past, which most of us have, with the culture that we live in and how we are taught growing up and the narratives that we have about our physical side, we can very much easily fall into creating a relationship based on physicality and chemistry and our hormones. But when we do that, we're not setting ourselves up or that person or our relationship for success. So my encouragement here for you today is that you have the power and the tool that you need to create a relationship based on the right foundation. And that is that you are able to set the pace, that you are able to slow it down with a man. And that looks like, in practice, you can literally slow down how often you text. Be clear with your emotions and how you want to communicate with a man or with a friend. So it's not about being aloof or trying to be mysterious or play games. It's simply being frank with somebody, letting them know. So if you are wanting to take a relationship slowly, simply telling that person, hey, I think we should take this slowly. There's this relationship model of attachment that I want to follow. And that says, we're going to save touch and the development of our physical relationship. We're going to save that for when it is appropriate, according to how much we know each other, how much we can rely on each other, how much we can trust each other, the commitment we have, and then we can bring up that level of touch as those other levers go up. I hope that has encouraged you. I know this is one of the main skills that I hold dearly in developing and forming new relationships, and that is because I have got it so wrong in the past, and I didn't have the skill, I didn't have the knowledge or the understanding of myself or how relationships should attach in a healthy way to give it the longevity, to provide a safe environment emotionally for a man. And often, men can, when they have that attraction to you, when they have that desire for you, it can speed up their emotional and their physical desire for you, which isn't a bad thing. But as the woman, you can imagine, like, if there's this big black stallion and it's getting feisty, you are the one who can pull down its reins and you can calm it down, because you don't want that horse to be, jumping into hedges and, causing chaos in your life. But you are able to bring, with firmness and with kindness, slowing that relationship down. And if you want a practical guide on how to do this, one is coming to you shortly, my lovely girls. I am building a whole document for you, which is going to have all these 12 principles. But I just wanted to start off by giving you this one, because I just felt I needed to get this out quickly to somebody out there, because if you are starting a new relationship, this is for you, so that you can start it on the right foot, so that you can not repeat the same bad habits that perhaps that you have developed in the past and how you formed relationships. And especially because our culture is telling us to move fast in every area of our lives. And this is one that I want you to succeed in. I really want you to have the most beautiful, flourishing, solid, secure and safe relationship with that special man in your life, as well as with your friends and with your family. So I hope this blesses you and helps you today, and I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week.